freedom?
Yeah, I'm comfy.
Good. Oh, and by the way, Ralph...
Ha-ha! Ha-ha! By the way, huh? I knew there'd have to be a by the way in here someplace. All right, what's by the way?
All right, Ralph. The Nortons are getting a new television set, and I was just thinking, why don't we get one, too?
All right, Alice. I am now going out the door again. When I come back in, act like I wasn't in here before. And I don't want any of this. None of that. None of this stuff. I don't want to be comfy. I don't want my slippers. I don't want any lemonade. And most of all, I don't want any talk about buying a television set.
Ralph, why can't we have a television set? The Nortons are on that second one. We haven't even had our first one yet. Why do you always have to be so cheap?
Cheap? Cheap? Is that why you think I won't get you a set because I'm cheap? Well, that shows how much you know.
All right, what is the reason?
Do you want to know the reason?
Yeah.
You want to know the reason?
Yeah.
The reason? All right, I'll tell you the reason. I'm waiting for 3D television. That's the reason.
Are you waiting for 3D refrigerators, too? Let's face it, Ralph, you're just too cheap to get me a set. Ed Norton makes the same money you do, and you know what they have? They got a washing machine, they got a vacuum cleaner, they got a television set, they even got an electric stove.
I gotta go along with you, Alice. You're right. They got all of those things. And they got one more thing that we ain't got. You know what that is? Worries. And do you know why they got worries? Because every week he's got to go down and pay for those things, see? That's headaches when you got to pay out every week. I don't have any headaches. I got peace of mind. That's what I got, peace of mind. Go ahead, let them buy things. Let them buy them. What good are things? I got money, Alice. I sock mine away in a bank. You know what the bank account is now? It's going up, up. We got $75 laying around there. That's what we got. So don't go envying Trixie. She's got electric stove, she's got television sets, she's got washing machines. You got financial security. Just remember that. You know as well as I do, Alice, that money is better than things. I would rather have money in my wallet. In my wallet, I'd rather have money than all the things in the world. So let Norton have his vacuum cleaners. Let him have his television sets. Let him have his electrical stoves. Go ahead. I got one thing that he hasn't got. I got it here.
You make me feel very unwifely, McNaughton. Go barbecue.
I still say don't serve your awful coffee with my steaks.
Oh, hello, Thelma.
This is a maid? I thought maids had short skirts with white hats and black silk stockings.
Ralph. The chubby one's gonna be trouble.
Thelma, don't be too hasty. I'm sure they're an awfully nice couple.
Thelma, what my husband meant was we just wanted to explain your duties to you.
Oh, yeah. What do I gotta do? Yeah, and I might as well tell you right now, I can't do no heavy work. I'm sickly.
Sick? Well, first of all, you'll have to go to the market, then you'll have to cook, scrub the floors.
I don't scrub no floors.
You're so right, Thelma. My husband will be glad to scrub the floors.
Now, wait a minute.
You'll scrub the floors. That's a man's work.
Just a minute. Who's doing the hiring here? All right, Alice, it's all off.
Oh, no, Ralph, I'm not giving up my career. So it's either Thelma or you.
And I might as well tell you something else right now. I get Thursdays and Sundays off, see? My work is through the minute the supper dishes are done. I don't work in no house where they got no pets. So you might as well get rid of one if you got one. If you're going to have a party, I get time and a half over and the next day off. And if you're planning on having any late snacks, I don't do no cleaning up the next morning. And this boy looks like he has plenty of late snacks.
Harvey, want anything special for your birthday?
Just a decent cup of coffee.
You're kidding.
I'm serious. Honey, your coffee's undrinkable.
It's pretty harsh.
Well, so's your coffee. You know, the girls down at the office make better coffee on their hot plates. Well, see you later.
A troublemaker. Well, I have got news for you, Ralph. You and Norton and some of the men in this building can learn an awful lot of things from Carlos. He happens to be a gentleman, Ralph, and that seems to be something that you have forgotten all about. He treats us like women. That's something you've forgotten, too, Ralph. You seem to have forgotten that I am a woman.
I forgot that you're a woman? How could I? You're always yapping. What do you mean I don't treat you like a woman? I treat you like a woman. I let you sew, I let you cook, I let you wash the windows, I let you clean up. Boys don't do that, Alice.
You can get incredible mileage from the Goodyear Custom Wide Tread Polyglass tire.
I've got 32,000 miles on my tires.
I've got 41,000 miles on my Polyglass. But Polyglass means more than mileage when your wife has to drive alone. When a woman's at the wheel, Polyglass means more than mileage.
An ordinary dinner party, the sort of occasion we all enjoy. The men are exchanging witty stories. And look at the women, aren't they pretty? Look at the way they laugh. They're delightful. But now the conversation turns to more serious matters.
I wonder if the government should return to the gold standard.
I think it should.
Good. Then we're all agreed.
But oh dear, what's this? One of the women is about to embarrass us all.
I think the government should stay off the gold standard so that the pound can reach a level that will keep our exports competitive.
The lady has foolishly attempted to join the conversation with a wild and dangerous opinion of her own. What half-baked drivel. See how the men look at her with utter contempt.
Daphne, we're going home.
Women, know your limits. Look at the effect of education on a man and a woman's mind. Education passes into the mind of a man. See how the information is evenly and tidily stored. Now see the same thing on a woman. At first we see a similar result. But now look. Still at a reasonably low level of education, her brain suddenly overloads. She cannot take in complicated information. She becomes frantically and absurdly deranged.
Like this, where you can see what's going on. I'm just beginning to wonder what I'm going to do with it.
Who'd you say you painted it for?
Sue Bailey, but that was a long time ago.
Well, yeah, but I can see where it might present kind of a problem.
Yeah, that's what Wally was saying. But Chris just isn't the jealous type. We've always been perfectly honest with each other.
Well, it isn't a question of being honest. It's just that women have a strange way of looking at things like this.
Well, now, what do you mean by that?
Well, for instance, suppose we'd been married for just a short while, and I brought home a painting that I'd done for, say, Cynthia Hornsby, for instance.
Cynthia Hornsby?
Yeah, you've heard me mention her.
Well, yeah, I was just wondering why you thought of her.
Oh, well, no special reason. It was just a girl I went out with a couple of times.
A couple of times? I thought you said you only went out with her once.
Well, you see what I mean? I'm in trouble with your mother, and I can't even paint.
I got something there.
Maybe he has at that.
Shirley, if you take this home and hang it on the wall, every time Chris walks by it, she'll look up and think of you and Cynthia.
Sue.
Oh, Sue, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're right. I think I'll just leave it here.
You know, I'm not so sure I want it in the house now.
I'm just kidding. I just try and explain what I meant to Rick. I don't know what made me think of Cynthia Hornsby. I could have mentioned Betty Cooper or Patty King or Sally Wilson.
Okay, Rick, you can leave the picture on one condition. You take your father home with you.
It's Ralph's fault. Look, Alice, just because you're married to a horse doesn't mean you have to live in a stable.
What is she doing here?
Who are
Ralph. She's my mother.
What's that? Your lunchbox?
Oh, you're starting right in, huh? Starting right in with the insults. No warming up in a bullpen or nothing, huh? Starting right in. I remember when you used to come over, you used to start slow with a couple of hello stupids and stuff like that. Now I don't even get that anymore, huh? Well, let me tell you something and get this into your head. This is my home, and when you come in here, treat me with respect and address me with a civil tongue.
Oh, why don't you shut up?
Ralph, what's the matter with the two of you? Can't you ever get together without fighting?
I didn't start this. Mammy Yoakum did.
Ralph, I don't care who started it, but it is stopping right now. Anyway, what's that bag?
Oh, I told you about this. Remember last month they found a bag on a bus? Well, nobody claimed it, so now it's mine.
Well, what's in it?
I don't know what's in it. Can't be anything of value, or they would have claimed it.
Can't be of any value or you wouldn't have found it.
Hey, you dirty little... Look, Alice, I got something important to talk to you about, and I'd like to do it in private.
Anything you can say to my daughter, you can say in front of me.
What is it, Ralph?
Well, look, Alice, I'm short a couple of bucks, and I gotta pay my dues at the lodge tonight. They're gonna throw me out if I don't.
Don't you give him a cent, Alice.
One of these days, you're gonna push me too far.
The only thing that could push you is a bulldozer.
All right, get out! Get out!
All right, Alice, it's all right. I have to be going anyway.
You were going anyway. Whether you were going anyway or any other way, I'm throwing you out anyway. There isn't room in this place for you and me.
There isn't room in this place for you and anybody.
Out!
And to think that you gave up a good job in the laundry for this.
What's on your mind?
Bearings, Inspector.
She's a good one, too. Just look at that record.
Okay, now, Walt, you've had your little joke. Give her to somebody else. I ask for a man.
We don't have a man with her qualifications. Seriously, Brad, if you treat her right, she might make you a darn good employee.
What do you mean, treat her right?
Get that chip off your shoulder. What's wrong with her?
She's a woman, isn't she?
Now, wait a minute. You got a lot of women in your department. What's wrong with one more?
Did you ever hear of the straw that broke the camel's back?
They're good workers. Accurate, quick to catch mistakes, a lot of patience.
Yeah, but that comes out of books. I work with them, mister. I know what happens.
What does happen?
Well, it's a long story.
Come on now, tell me. What does happen? Maybe I've been misinformed.
Not so long ago, you sent me a girl by the name of Myrtle Malloy. Remember?
I remember.
As per her qualifications, I assigned her to an inspection bench. Well, in a matter of days, that bench looked more like her dressing table. And then came the day when... Joe, will you take your stuff back to table 9? That'll be your bench for the time being.
Okay, Chief.
Myrtle, we're moving you to table number 10.
Is something wrong, Mr. Bradshaw?
No, nothing's wrong. We just need this space for something else.
Well, I sure hate to give it up. It's been a nice place to work. The light's good here, and it's nicely situated right in the middle of things. I just begun to feel at home.
Well, I'm sorry, Myrtle, but table 10 will have to be your work area for the time being.
You mean there's liable to be another change?
There's always that possibility.
Well, I certainly hope I'm not moved every other day.
With man, no trouble at all. Tell him what you want and he does it. But with Myrtle, a little move is a big production.
Okay.
Now, wait a minute. You asked me, now let me tell you. Now, here's another problem.
Oh, Mr. Bradshaw, I wanted to tell you that the date is set for my marriage. I'll be leaving soon.
Marriage? Mm-hmm. I thought you just got engaged.
Well, I told you about it 6 months ago. We were only waiting till we could find a place to live.
6 months ago? Oh, brother. Well, how soon are you leaving?
Well, the end of next week.
Oh, that'll really put us in a bind around here. It takes time to break in a relief, girl.
Yes, I know it does. I wondered.
Why didn't you say something? I didn't realize you were getting married right away.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Bradshaw, but I really thought you knew. We've all been talking about it.
Okay, Brad, but how many blushing brides do you have? Besides, what's all this got to do with Dolly, the new girl? She's already married. And she's a qualified bearings inspector.
You know what I was doing when this new girl came in a few minutes ago?
No.
I was trying to cope with one of the biggest problems of all, Walt. Now, in your books, it comes under the general heading of absenteeism among women employees. Yesterday, I spent an hour and a half teaching one of our girls what she needed to know in order to start on the oscilloscope today. This morning, she isn't here, so I had to use somebody else. I don't think the girl we got on it now ever pick it up, so I'll probably have to find somebody else.
Question. All these things you've been talking about, marriage, absenteeism, personality problems, aren't they really just a part of life?
Part of a woman's life, maybe. But I can remember the good old days when there were all men in my department, and we didn't have these problems.
You didn't have the production output you've got now either. Look, Brad, you've got a new bearings inspector who happens to be a woman. You need someone, and there isn't a man available. It seems to me that whether the gal adds up to trouble or not is pretty much up to you.